Worst things every original Avenger did in the MCU. Even superheroes make some pretty terrible decisions. Throughout their stories in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the original Avengers have all had their fair share of oops moments.
Asshole! Tell me you didn't do it!
Some more catastrophic than others. The MCU's Phase 1 built them up as Earth's mightiest heroes. But as it turns out, being a superhero doesn't mean you're immune to bad judgment calls. Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Black Widow, and Hawkeye may have saved the world a few times, but let's not forget the times they also majorly screwed up. For all their influence, these founding Avengers have done some real damage along the way. So, in the spirit of calling out their worst moments, because who doesn't love a little accountability, let's break down the absolute worst thing each of these heroes did in the MCU. 7. Iron Man created Ultron. Avengers: Age of Ultron, 2015. Tony Stark's whole deal in the MCU is a redemption arc, which, of course, requires him to have some pretty terrible things to redeem himself from.
He's a sickness.
And let's be real, nothing tops the disaster that was Ultron. Tony, in all his genius, decided to play God and whipped up an AI designed to protect the Earth. Instead, he ended up with a homicidal robot who thought the best way to ensure peace was, well, no more humans. Brilliant work, Stark. Sure, Wanda Maximoff gave him a spooky nightmare that nudged him in the wrong direction, but creating an untested, world-destroying AI behind his team's backs? That's all on him. Ultron wiped out an entire city, killed countless people, and nearly ended the Avengers before they could even get going. So yeah, this one's definitely Tony's biggest oops moment. Dishonorable mentions. Let's not forget that before Iron Man became everyone's favorite snarky hero, he spent years manufacturing weapons of mass destruction and profiting off global conflicts. Sure, he saw the light eventually, but that doesn't erase the decades of warmongering. Skeletons in the closet? Stark's got a whole graveyard. 6. Captain America kept Tony in the dark about Bucky killing his parents. Captain America: Civil War, 2016. Steve Rogers is supposed to be the MCU's moral compass, the golden boy who always does the right thing. But even the star-spangled man with a plan isn't above some serious lapses in judgment. Case in point, keeping the whole "hey Tony, your best friend murdered your parents" thing under wraps. Yes, Bucky was brainwashed, and yes, Steve wanted to protect his childhood buddy, but come on, how did he not think this would blow up in his face? Instead of coming clean, Cap let Zemo drop that bombshell in the most dramatic way possible, leading to one of the most brutal Avenger-on-Avenger beatdowns ever. Congrats, Steve. You didn't just lose Tony as a friend. You helped fracture the entire team. Dishonorable mentions. Cap's refusal to sign the Sokovia Accords was another classic I know best move. Sure, he had his reasons, but instead of trying to negotiate like an adult, he went full rogue and started a superhero civil war. Because nothing says justice like punching your coworkers in the face. 5. Black Widow nearly killed a child. Black Widow, 2021. Natasha Romanoff's past is about as dark as the inside of a locked SHIELD file. She's got plenty of red in her ledger, but nothing tops her attempted assassination of General Dreykov, which just so happened to involve blowing up his innocent daughter in the process. That's right. Our beloved Black Widow tried to off a child. In her defense, she thought Dreykov was an irredeemable monster, which, to be fair, he was. And she genuinely believed the girl was collateral damage. But still, knowingly putting a kid in the crossfire? Not exactly a proud Avenger moment. The fact that Antonia Dreykov survived, horribly scarred and brainwashed, only made Natasha's past even messier. Dishonorable mentions. Natasha spent years working as a brainwashed assassin, which probably involved a lot of morally questionable activities. But hey, at least she eventually switched sides and felt bad about it, right? 4. Hawkeye was Loki's mind-controlled henchman. The Avengers, 2012. Clint Barton may not be the flashiest Avenger, but he does hold the unique distinction of spending half of the first team-up movie as a straight-up villain. Thanks to Loki's scepter, Hawkeye turned into an emotionless henchman, betraying S.H.I.E.L.D., murdering agents, and helping the god of mischief plan an alien invasion. Not a great look. Granted, Clint wasn't in control of his actions, but that didn't stop him from racking up a body count. By the time he snapped out of it, the damage was done. Loki had his hands on the Tesseract, and Earth was officially doomed. Welcome to the Avengers, Hawkeye. You had one job. Dishonorable mentions. After losing his family to the blip, Clint ditched the bow and went full John Wick, hunting down criminals as the deadly vigilante Ronin. Sure, he was grieving, but straight up massacring people? Maybe not the healthiest coping mechanism. 3. Thor almost started a war for no reason. Thor, 2011. Thor, God of Thunder, King of questionable decisions. Before he became the lovable goofball we all adore, he was an arrogant prince with zero impulse control. Case in point, storming into Jotunheim and nearly starting an interdimensional war just because he felt like flexing. Despite Odin literally begging him not to, Thor picked a fight with the Frost Giants, causing a diplomatic disaster and almost getting his friends killed. His actions forced Odin to strip him of his powers and banish him to Earth, which honestly was a pretty fair punishment. Dishonorable mentions. Thor's biggest personal failing might just be how terribly he treated Loki. From childhood bullying to dismissing his brother's skills, Thor pretty much set the stage for Loki's eventual villain era. Good job, big guy. 2. Hulk went on a rampage. In Johannesburg, Avengers Age of Ultron, 2015. Bruce Banner is usually the responsible one, but give him a little push or a dose of Wanda Maximoff's chaos magic, and suddenly he's a 10-foot rage monster tearing through a major city. Thanks to Scarlet Witch's mind tricks, Hulk went berserk in Johannesburg, leveling buildings, endangering civilians, and forcing Tony to break out the Hulkbuster suit just to stop him. It's not Bruce's fault per se, but that didn't make it any less terrifying. The Avengers were supposed to protect people, not smash their cities to rubble. Not exactly the PR boost they needed. Dishonorable mentions. Banner's other big mistake.
Puny god.
Helping Tony create Ultron. He knew it was a bad idea, yet he went along with it anyway. Classic case of peer pressure gone horribly wrong. 1. Nick Fury stole the Avengers' DNA. Secret Invasion, 2023. Nick Fury may not be an official Avenger, but he's the one who brought them together. So of course he's got his own share of shady secrets. And his worst one? Stealing the DNA of Earth's mightiest heroes like some kind of cosmic mad scientist. As revealed in Secret Invasion, Fury collected samples of the Avengers' DNA, which, surprise, surprise, ended up in the wrong hands. His little science project helped create an unstoppable villain. And the worst part? He never even told the Avengers he did it. Yikes. Dishonorable mentions. Fury is basically the king of morally gray decisions. Manipulating the Avengers? Check. Ditching Earth when it needed him most? Check. Lying as easily as breathing? Triple check. Even the best heroes have their worst moments, and the Avengers are no exception. They may save the world, but they also screw up a lot. Thankfully, they always find a way to bounce back. Well, usually.